Hello humans, Master DinnerFlax here. Today I found an old deck profile of mine, that I found when cleaning out my computer from all the porn and whatever. Um, but it's interesting because of all the really bad card choices I made back then, which some of them weren't even bad card choices. It's just they were, uh, well, so you're gonna look at this and you're gonna like, what the hell is this garbage? So from looking at it, it looks like I don't have Soul Charge in here, which is a card I always loved playing. So I'm going to assume it was uh post Legacy of the Valiant, or yeah, Legacy of the Valiant, but pre like Dragon of Legends, which is before Artifacts. So this is about Beast Warrior format, back when Fire Fist Bear was considered the best monster in the game. Yeah, games really changed from there. I'm going to go ahead and get into this because nothing about this makes sense because I named the deck Ebony, which is a little weird. Thought this was porn when cleaning it out, but it turns out it wasn't. So let's get into it. I think so. I actually do remember this deck, but it's very weird why I chose these cards. I'll just get into it. So we got 3 Infinity Dark and 1 Shadow Delver. So these are level 4 Gemini monsters with 1500 attack that even their effects are garbage. Like, they're like neat if they were a non-effect, if they were just an effect monster with 18 and 1900 attack, then their effects would be neat. But no, they had to make them small, and then they had to make them Geminis. So just all around terrible. Just all around terrible cards. But you don't use them for their effects. You use them because they're Dark Geminis. And I wanted to call this deck like Vanilla Control, but that wasn't right. So I guess I called it Ebony, which is probably worse than just calling it Dark Vanilla, or better actually. So Infinity Dark, to say you never would have used these effects was wrong, even though you never did. Just use them as XC materials, and if you're taking a look at my extra deck like right now, you probably know how this deck already plays. Um, Shadow Delver. Uh, this one actually attacks directly, so it was like a weirder cowboy, but you could actually have like things bigger than him attack directly, and that's neat. This one was probably a little more clutch than this guy's effect. So this guy's effect was worthless, but this one's like its effect was better, but 1200 defense. 2 Armageddon Knight. I guess I started making this deck when looking at Infernity XZ when I'm taking a really good glance at this because it's like 2 Armageddon Knight, 2 Summoner Monk. This this was I don't know why I didn't play Dinotherium. Now, oh, you know what? I probably played this over Dinotherium for a few reasons because of its attribute. Like, keep in mind the attribute. This is way more focused around the attribute because of a specific card. We got 3 Cage to Cage, Noni Soar. Pretty good. You get to search it, and this is like this extra deck. I already know how this deck plays just by looking at the extra deck, and it's so stupid. Um, this is another searchable reptile. It's now a very, very, very slow out, but it's a searchable reptile, and God, that's rough looking at whatever that thing is. It's like all the worms just being smashed by the evil swarm virus. Ugh. But anyways, it's actually just a searchable normal summon reptile, so I guess it's like whenever Cage to Cage was in your hand, but you needed an actual normal summon, you can search this. And then an actual boss monster is Evil Dragon Antanta. And Ananta. Weird. Oh, that threw me off guard. So, if you don't know what this is, you banish all reptiles you control in your graveyard to special summon it. Each reptile banished for this effect, it gains 600 attack. And during each end phase, you must destroy a card on the field. But each of your end phases, you must destroy a card on the field. But you gotta remember this was pre-artifacts, and this was like back row the game at this point during Beast Warrior format. I call it Beast Warrior format. January to April 2014. Uh, Solid. It's really weird how this card just interacts, but it's actually really powerful. In theory, I probably played it for a reason. Stygian Street Patrol. This is what really makes me think it's based on Infernity, because the only thing it can summon is this, so it's like not really, not really sure. Whatever. Two Gemini Scorpion. I mean, one Gemini Scorpion. I guess it's because it's a level 4 Marauding Captain for like 4 of your cards. That's a bad choice. Don't ever do that. Then Zephyros the Elite. I'm actually pretty proud of my pretty proud of my stupid self, because there was Fiendish Chain back then, and that was a popular card. Then there was Safe Zone. It's like, you know what? This is actually not a bad choice. Good job, me. Got 2 Forbidden Lance, 2 Gemini Spark, and 2 MST. I'm going to assume this is why I just played this over literally normal monsters. Like, these could be level 4 dark normal monsters. Like, there's plenty of them, and they'd just be better. But I assume it's actually because of Gemini Spark. And Gemini Spark's a pretty good card, even back then, but not much now. But like now, the game's realistically not that playable. But Mystical Space Typhoon, there wasn't Twin Twister, and there wasn't Heavy Storm. White Elephant's Gift. It's kind of why the Forbidden Lances are in here, is because this format is so trap heavy. MST was like worthless. Like, it was really what inspired the whole blind MST thing. It's because like, you know, you couldn't. There wasn't enough back row destruction in the game to deal with like a first turn back row board. So it was like, hold it for something that hold it when they're like kind of showing what kind of traps they have, and that was actually really tactical about that format. Two White Elephant's Gift. This is also questionable. It's like, why did I play the Gemini Spark when I could have played 3 of these and then normal monsters? But oh well. Allure of Darkness. This seems pretty smart. Banishing a cage to actually get normal summons seems strong. Rhoda. I want to say this was. I thought this was at 2, but maybe not, or at least not yet. Book of Moon, because it was a trap card that wasn't really a trap card, and that was always nice. Then Dark Hole, because that was the only thing you had. I wonder why I still play Dark Hole, because... Oh, you know what? I still play Dark Hole because of the Summoner Monks, obviously. Summoner Monk, really good card. 3 Fiendish Chain for the Zephyros. 2 Safe Zone for the obvious Master Key lock in there. It was like, there's an XZ way to make Beals. And I want to say around this time, there was a regional that got topped with Umbral Horrors. They just did this combo every game. It was like, really? Why? And then you got 2-Dimensional Prison, back at a time where this card was actually good, I think, maybe. Torrential Tribute, solid, even today. Compulse, really good back then, because Felgrin was recently released. And I want to say there was like a lot of dragonish kind of decks, and this and Fiendish Chain could deal with the Felgrin, and Felgrin was so powerful back then. And then Solemn Warning, the most powerful trap card by far. I'm gonna go into the side deck because I would think this deck plays entirely from the extra deck, so I'm just gonna go into the side deck first. 2 Chaos Monsters. At first, I was like, something's not right here, because it was like, it's like you search Gentlemander, and it's like, really, this is so dumb. It's like, is this real incentive to play Chaos Monsters? But it's like, that was got 2 Max C. Man, there was a time when Max C wasn't good enough to put in the main. That's crazy to think about. 3 Viruses, 2 Deck Devi, and 1 Eradicator. I'm not sure why I even had the Deck Devis in here. There's like. This is at a time when this card was worthless. I don't even know why this is on the side. This, however, makes total sense. And this actually also makes a lot of sense because there's like dragons, it was like mermails, infernity, all kinds of cards like that. And this was also good against Infernity going first. They're like, oh, we're gonna do our wombo combo. And it's like, when you're going first against Infernity during this time, when Exciton came out, you didn't establish much to the board. It was like Master Key, Decree, and a Fiendish Chain if you could. And then like they do their entire combo, and then at the end you're like, haha, I got you, and then you activate Decree. That's usually protected by Master Key or something ridiculous, and it's like that entire combo was worthless because they just set 5 nothings in their back row, and that's like that was funny. And I think during like right before April they still had 3 barrier, but I could be wrong. Anyways, extra deck. This I think is where I learned that 2 Daigusto Emerald is infinite Daigusto Emerald, because you don't use this to shuffle. You use this to draw, to summon out of the graveyard, but you also use this as like to put extra deck monsters back and like random stuff. So it's like you'd have a field of 2 Daigusto Emeralds, like revive this, and then use another one to actually shuffle stuff back. And then like the third one will recycle these 2 back. And it's like, what? It's actually really funny that I came up with this. And it turns out, along the lines, a lot of other people came up with it too. And it's like, huh. And I guess at the end of the day, it's one of the reasons why it's banned now. And by the way, if you're wanting to play a deck even remotely like this, it's just not possible. Like, it's one thing, like the volatile chain was important in the deck, but it wasn't a necessity. This was a literal necessity of the card, of the deck, and it got even worse, and it's even worse when you think about it because now you have to play Links, and this deck literally has to have like 3 XZs at a time to do anything powerful. And we got 2 Master Keys for the obvious safe zone, but it's also an Eradicator target, so that's cool. Declared traps against like there's a lot of trap decks. Fire Fist, like Fire Fist played a grand total of 18 cards that weren't trap cards, so it's like, okay, I'll activate this. That deck, I don't know how it saw any success during that time. Bujin was far better. 2 King of the Feral Imps, kind of the engine of the deck. You just search your reptiles. It's big. Yeah. Exciton Knight, no, couldn't buy it, so let's just play Dueling Network. Evil Storm Nightmare. It's probably one of the first times I ever played this card. It was actually really good. But I'm trying to remember what I played it. It was more for like the Wolf Bark rather than anything else. Then Ophion, because some goddamn reason you can make this in here. This seems really dumb, and probably shouldn't have done that because it's dumb. And this card seems fairly worthless, so I don't know why that's in here. This one made sense because there's a lot of plays where you needed just an XZ, and it also let you play this card out of your hand when you haven't even done anything with King of the Feral Imps. Stacking your deck, just all kinds of stuff. 101, same reason as the Exciton Knight. Dueling Network. Steel Swarm Roach, no fucking clue. And then Abyss Dweller. This one makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I was gonna say yeah, hands are out, but they weren't. I don't think so yet. So yeah, this is a blast from the past. This deck, looking at it, I was a terrible deck builder. I'm very glad to see I haven't changed much since then. But oh well. Thank you all for watching. This has been a really cool, like, nostalgic trip for me because I haven't seen this deck in so long, and I can't believe this is one of my first really like unique decks, and it's, I don't know. Well, thank you all for watching, and remember, Master DinnerFlax will take your soul.